I love women. I love
It
women. I
sounds
love
like
my mother.
you're sounding like and by the way, I'm going to be very clear here. You're sounding like an absolute piece of shit who hates women and wants to see them burned alive for fucking. Like you
one.
sound like one of the worst pieces of shit I've ever spoken to, Pierre, honestly. And I don't go this
One.
hard. I don't typically go this hard because people aren't usually this fucking ignorant.
No, here's the thing. It's one is emotional. Another is cerebral, where you just have to take things as it
Yeah,
is.
I think it is
When we go,
emotional
like,
to imagine women being burned
if
alive. It is emotional.
no, no, yeah, it is a very emotional thing. It is a very emotional thing, kind of, when you kind of just, let's say, if we was to travel back, we will learn, like, hey, the rules and regulation of this nation is very different from where I come from,
Bad,
right?
Hey,
bad.
Joel, I mentioned I would show back up in the Discord if I got really
No, no,
mad. This guy fucking sucks.
no. Wait. No, because, like, let's say there's
Yes.
certain countries you go to at this moment. If you were to just smoke weed, which some people will say is enjoyable, and it's my autonomy, I could do whatever I want with my body, you're gonna be thrown in jail, right?
Well, it depends on what country you're
We
in,
don't
but
like it.
Boo! I think that's a
We don't.
bad law. Boo! I condemn that
No,
law.
no, no, no. You could say it's a bad law. Agree. Like, you could say it's a bad law, but it's the law of the nation. You could.
yeah. So Pierre,
That's
just to throw a wrench in this, we're talking about a law from an all-knowing, all-powerful, allegedly all-good, all-loving God who loves women equally to men. We're talking about that, and what we're showing you is that God isn't here. This God isn't doing this because he came up with a horrible law. Now, if it was people, we would condemn it. Like if it was people that made up this law, I would have a feeling. Actually, let me test that out. If you thought that, like, the people of your government were to say that, like, if you were to help a grandmother across the street, but it wasn't your grandmother, and you carried her groceries, you should be hit by a bus. Would you say that that's a bad law?
Can you repeat what you just said? What's the law you just
The crime that you're committing is if you helped another person's grandmother across the street carrying her groceries, so it wasn't your grandmother. The punishment would be that you would be hit by a bus. Now, do you think that that would be a good law or a bad law?
That's a bad law.
Okay, so we're able to see when laws are bad. Okay, so in this case, you think that if a woman, if a woman decides to take off her clothing and have sexual intercourse with a man, that she, at a certain time in history, should be burned alive, lit on fire until she dies screaming in agony. You think that that is a good law or a bad law?
If I think it's a good law or a bad law, it's besides the point.
No. You did it for the bus. Do it for the lighting somebody on fire. Come on, be honest.
No, but
It's a
these
bad
two
law,
are different.
right? No, why?
No.
Why?
So let's break down each law. One law is I'm assisting someone across the street.
No, they're not different in the sense that you can say whether or not one is good or one is bad. So you think it's good to light women on fire if they sleep with a man?
I don't think it's good to light women on fire.
Okay, so this is a bad law.
All right, this is what laws do. Laws is supposed to bring you to a set of values that you should uphold. The set of value that this
is that what laws are supposed to do?
Yeah, it's here to change. It's here to control your behavior, but also at the end of the day, it's saying, hey, this is the values that you should live by. That's what all laws are.
I feel like the laws are to protect people.
Yeah, which is a value. Protecting people is a value.
Yeah, so
it's a value of love.
Who is burning women alive protecting?
So it tells you it's protecting the honor of the father and the family.
Wow. Ooh,
That's
gross. Gross.
No. It's also protecting the honor.
That a woman can only do certain things, like because her daddy might not look that good or something like that. Oh, that's gross.
It's also here to protect the honor of the woman herself.
What do you mean by honor? That's weird too.
It's weird. Yes, that's what culture is. Like if I go to another country, they're gonna be doing weird stuff because that's
So
not
Pierre
what I'm
thinks it's
accustomed
good to burn women alive because it would
to. Here's
dishonor
the thing.
them. It would dishonor
No, no,
them
no,
to
no.
sleep with
I've never.
somebody because he thinks sex dishonors you. Ah, man, that's
It,
fucking
it.
dumb, Pierre. You got a
I.
bad
No, no.
perspective.
This is what I'm saying. If you give me a chance, I'm saying it's good to bring honor to yourself and to your
Just
family
want
by
to
the way
point
you
out,
conduct.
But if I can, Pierre, just to speak over you, I
Uh,
think that Joel is right with this point. If you're able to like say, here's a law that's bad, and you have the ability to do that with something like the one that you brought up, but with this law you can't do it. It seems like a you problem. Like you just like, are you maybe like a disturbing person, or are you just like generally
one,
awful?
why are you insinuating all these stuff? One, I'm a
I
case
was just
manager.
repeating back what
No,
you
no,
said.
no. I'm a
Pierre, we're
case.
observing. This is observation.
No, no, no. This is observation, but this is observation without willingness to understand. You're insinuating a lot of stuff
I don't
about
think,
my
let me just
character.
say this. I don't think, by the way, everyone else in the Discord, I speak to one person at a time. So, Martian, or Martin, if you keep asking, I'll have to drop you. So just stop messaging in the other part of the Discord, okay? So this is the thing is like, I don't think that Discord, I don't think that if a woman sleeps with a man, it dishonors her or her father. You think it's a dishonoring thing to have sexual intercourse with somebody? Is that how stupid you are?
I don't think it's dishonorable to have sexual intercourse.
Okay, but then why are you saying that this law
With
was to
like
protect a woman's honor or some shit?
with a designated person. I don't think it's a dishonor to
Oh,
have.
the woman's partner needs to be designated. What kind of
Well,
fucking world do you live in?
well, if you choose your husband, right? Aren't you designating who you're gonna have sex with?
Well,
And
if you've chosen, but
what
this person's chosen to sleep with whoever they wanted to sleep with.
they chosen to sleep with, and I'm coming from a place of like I was trying to get in earlier. I'm coming from a place of case management. I deal with people all the time. And I deal with people who put themselves in a situation. It's just like, okay, how do we get you out of this crisis? One, two of my past experience working as child protective, right? I used to, and I'm living in New York City, by the way.
Well,
I
this is
used
actually
to,
probably pretty useful if you have experience with this. Like, we can pretend there's a woman who's on fire, and she's like, "Help, Pierre! I'm in a crisis. I'm on fire right now." And then you were like, "Well, what'd you do?" And she was like, "Well, I had sex with my like a friend of mine." Would you like? How would you help her in that situation?
Well, what was she wearing?
well, if she's on fire,
Who said that?
That was Jack. Jack was doing a joke.
Oh,
I'm sorry, I'll be quiet.
there's kind of a lot of things going on with every scenario. All right. My whole thing is, like I was saying, this is my standpoint. Laws are supposed to bring you to a higher value, right? The value that is bringing
Yeah,
you to
I
is one
don't
of the
know
values
that
is bringing.
that's just not that's a non-starter.
No, no, no. It
Laws
says it.
laws are in place to protect us, not to bring us to a higher value. I don't even know what that means.
So,
That's not
all
what
right.
laws that's not what laws are around for. Like that's just like and who says what the value is like that's just like not true, Pierre. Like the laws of
No,
your
the value.
country are not there to bring you to a higher value. That's just stupid.
Well,
I think that like the higher values
laws
thing,
are
you
here
could
to
apply like
express
the
our value,
ideals of a nation.
values, ideals, ideologies. The
Okay,
ideology.
I thought you were saying bring a person to a higher value, but you're saying to
They can. They can. They
okay,
can. They have the potential. It depends on if a person is willing to sit down and kind of process. If I can't do this, then what can I do? All right. Why am I not able to do this? It's like don't drink and drive.
yeah,
I
the
want
reason
to
why
drive.
you're going to find is to protect maybe you or
That's
likely
none. That
somebody else or their property. right? So why
No, no, no.
shouldn't I drink and drive?
Correct,
It's
correct.
going to
But
protect me. Hold on. It's going to
all right.
protect me from getting in an accident, but probably even in a larger, like a greater way, it's going to protect another person that I could
All right.
hit
So,
or some
so,
property that I could damage. So there's a
all
lot of
right.
people that could be harmed by me drinking and driving. So it's a protection.
Totally agree. All right. So, all right. If you go to Psalms 1, right? If you go to Psalms 1, it's a Psalms about the laws of God. And if you read it, I'm not sure if you want me to read it or if you're going to read it yourself. Is saying that the laws are, yeah, on one simple level, is here to protect. But if you delve deeper into it, this is basically what the psalm is saying. It's like if you delve deeper into it, it's here to kind of bring life and give you values. That's basically what it says. And is a psalm on how to process laws and how to approach laws.
Yeah.
So this is why I'm saying, hey.
So I just don't understand the beauty or all the poetry that you want to say and whatever. Like burning a
No,
woman
no, no.
alive, burning a woman alive seems
Because
entirely
all right.
counterproductive to whatever
So
you're saying right now.
let's look at the flip side of, all right, here is a woman, she's not engaging in random sex with a man, but she wants to engage in sex. How should she go about engaging in sex? This culture is saying,
Probably
hey,
flirt a little bit.
no. This culture is basically
Send
saying,
nudes.
hey,
I would say maybe send nudes. That's always helpful, I think.
what is basically saying, hey, because it's not allowing you to send news, it's not allowing you to do a lot of stuff, and they're saying, hey, you probably should get married if you really want to have sex. This is what it's basically saying. All right, I can't do that. What can I do? I probably should get married in order to have sex. All right, get married.
Yeah, I mean, look, if God thought that, or if the people at the time or whoever thought that maybe, and you know, I don't really adhere to this, but if they thought, oh, it's better for our culture or better for people at large for everyone to be married before they have intercourse with each other, if that were the case, which I don't think it is, I don't think there's any sort of science to support that or anything like that. I think that's just like a silly idea. But if that were the case, then it like I would be like, yeah, write that in there. Just be like, hey guys, you know, make sure you're married before you're sleeping around or anything like that. Don't do any of that nonsense. That's, you know, it'll be better for everyone. But that's not what's happening here. It's saying that if you are the daughter of a priest specifically. Yeah. So this is actually not applicable to all the women of the culture, but the daughters of the priest, and you happen to have sex with somebody else, right? Burn her alive. That's really extreme and very violent and very hateful towards women.
Yes.
And I don't, and it doesn't really speak to, this idea of like, oh, well, that's it'd be better for us to be monogamous with only one partner. Like it's not that. It's completely different than just that.
How is it not that? How is it not?
I'm saying it goes harder than that, doesn't it? It's not. It isn't saying that. It's saying if you're the daughter of a priest, don't sleep around or we'll burn you alive. That's way different than, by the way, best case scenario, everybody sleeps with one partner. That's not, do you see the difference in the messaging there?
There's a difference in messaging, and that's another key thing. You can't, like, you're dealing with a mass group of people. A lot of them process information differently. I've also worked with children, and I notice, like, gotta give your directions more than
Pierre, you're not addressing what Joel said.
No. I am addressing it.
No, you're not.
You just don't want to accept it. If
you're talking about your own experience.
No.
This isn't about the greater society. It's about a small subsect of the priest daughters only. So you can't say this is to like formulate a better general rule for humanity.
If you allow me to get to my point,
I know what his point is. His point is that these are the children of the human race. That they need to have these ridiculously harsh, violent punishments.
That's not my point.
All right, what's your point?
My point is this. Well, I'm making 2 points. one point is you have to, when speaking to a mass group of people, everybody process information differently. You have to put it in a different set of ways. My second point is when it's dealing with the priest, you got to understand the priest and his family is elevated in society. They're kind of, it's like dealing with, it's basically dealing with a governmental official. And it's telling you that, there's a lot of governments where, their family members is doing crime and they're not being held accountable. This is saying, no, we even holding them accountable. Actually, we holding
if it was like
I
make
agree with
sure
that.
if it was like make sure the priest's daughter is held to the same standard as everyone else, which would be a more like a reasonable standard. Hold on, Pierre, stop no-no-noing, because this is what you're literally saying. If the priest's daughter, they were like, you can't give her special treatment. If that was the law, then that would make sense. This is if a woman sleeps around, you're burning her alive, which none of the other women get that treatment, just priest daughters. So this is completely, that's not applicable. Why do you keep on saying things that don't matter here? And why would it be justified to burn a woman alive just because she happens to be the daughter of an official? Like, that's just fucking dumb.
Maybe try this, Peter. What if we could come up with? Hold on one second. Maybe can you imagine? Like, think of a punishment that would be more appropriate than burning someone alive for this. Like, like, is there anything in your head that would be like, what would make this more good at all? Like, because maybe you could say, like, for people who aren't priests of daughters of priests, the punishment is like a slap on the wrist, metaphorically. Like they pay a fine of $100, but then if you are a priest daughter, it's $500. Do you think that would be like a better law, or do you think that burning is the best is like the most perfect form of the law?
Is it the most perfect form of the law? If what I created, no, I wouldn't. Personally, I wouldn't create that law.
Yeah, so you don't like the law. You condemn the law.
I don't condemn the law. I just wouldn't put it in place.
So if you could think of a better one, that means that you don't think this is a perfect law.
I could think of a different one, but who said it would be better?
You, because you wouldn't choose this one. If you think this one's the best one, then you would choose this one. No.
But the question is, just because I think it's better, that's very that's just from my view.
It's disturbing of you, like it's gross of you.
Let me ask you.
No, it's from my viewpoint.
I just want to see what your meter is here, Pierre, because I'm getting a little bit concerned talking to you. So, if it was added onto this passage from God, that not only did you have to burn the women alive, but you'd actually have to put them on a rusty spike. Just put it right through their body, put that on a rusty spike, and then set them on fire before they completely die. Would you still say that that was a reasonable law and that you wouldn't condemn that law, or would you condemn it at that point?
I would understand it's the law that the nation goes by. All right.
Let's go a little farther. Let's go a little farther.
Let's
find out where the limit is. What if the rusty spike, while they were alive, you had to put the rusty spike like up their butt, like a bunch of times? Like you had to basically grape them with this spike. It says like first you plunge it into their butt 50 times until they just feel, and everyone watches and spits on them while this happens. Then we burn them. Would you still think that was just the law of the time, or would you be like, no, this law is bad?
It's not about time. It's also about. That's the nation's law.
You can't. This
is God. Okay,
law?
Pierre. This is God saying it. Just you would definitely reject the law that God gave at that point because it's fucking ridiculous. Like there's no. We are using our imaginations for evil right now to do this for you. You would reject that. Have some humanity.
I do have humanity, and I think the God of the Bible has humanity also.
So that's why. So, this is a hypothetical. You don't need to accept this law. You don't need to accept this rusty pipe law. So wouldn't you, if that were the law at the time, wouldn't you reject that because it's needlessly violent towards these women?
When you like, here's where I'm coming from. If I'm a person who's
Just
living
say
in the
yes. Like, why am I fight? Like, I am giving you such an olive branch to like save the tiniest bit of face that you have left right now. Like, most of it has been ripped off by your own fucking rhetoric, and it's lying on the ground.
You because you're coming from a space of privilege. And that's where it's coming from.
I think I'm coming from a place of human decency. I don't think it has anything to do with privilege to say that women should never have to be burned alive, that's always wrong to burn women alive. And
from a place of privilege, because this is just the law of the land. You're privileged to have grown up in this time, in this land. And
Pierre,
you could break.
Like, I don't understand where your fucking rotten brain is. Why on earth in like by any stretch of the imagination could it ever be justified to light a woman on fire or to hurt her violently with a rusty pipe before you do it? How could you not condemn these laws as horrific and brutal and unnecessary? Like, even if the punishment were death, why set her on fire? Like,
you know why to me is a waste of condemning it, because it moves nothing.
How is it a waste to condemn something horrible? You idiot.
No.
Like, you're such Pierre, you're so fucking you're such a fucking bad person.
You're not.
This cult that you're in has made you such a fucking piece of garbage. Like, this is the problem. People come on to these lives. People come on to these lives and they go, "Why are you guys doing this? Why'd you guys push back against this?" Because of this type of thing, Pierre. You're so fucking rotten. You've become so rotten because of this cult. It sucks so bad. Yes, Mezzo, what did you want to say?
Do you remember Michael Fay? Does that name sound familiar to you from like the 90s?
Really.
There was a guy in the US who went to Singapore and got caught spray painting or something, doing graffiti.
Oh, you know what? I think I saw a video of
the guy that got caned?
Upset.
Yeah, and they like caned him. And there was a whole thing here with Backlash where we were like, you are not allowed to cane US citizens. You can't do that. And we all condemned that law. Like, I'm just letting Pierre know, like, it's okay to say, hey, I disagree with that rule. I think it's bad. Even if it doesn't change history, it's not going to change the past. It'll just make you look like you're not a complete like husk of a person with no morals, you know?
No,
you just say,
yeah,
that was a bad rule.
I have morals. I could say, hey, was there another way or whatnot? And I have. And I could say that.
Obviously, there's infinite other ways.
That is a very.
There's got to be infinite other ways than burning a woman alive, Pierre.
Huh? Sorry?
There has to be infinite other ways than burning a woman alive. Like, you'd have to say, like, oh yeah, he could have done it, or commanded literally anything else. Burning a woman alive, that's gratuitous. There's not going to be a need for that.
It's harsh. It's harsh.
It's horrific. Totally it's barbaric. It's monstrous.
It is a harsh law as a deterrent, and is a deterrent.
To what end? To what end? Why do you think it had to be? End, why do you think it had to be so harsh?
Question is it actually fulfilling the job that it's supposed to do, which is preventing these. The daughters of the priest
why do you think that was so important?
Why do I think it's important?
To the level of having to burn a woman alive. No, to the level of having to burn a woman. You're the one like doing apologetics for it. You're the one that's saying it must be good. So, like, use your imagination. Why do you think this level of violence had to be done to a woman that was a priest's daughter? What do you think the motivation was there? What was the value of that?
To bring to a value of honoring oneself, honoring one's family, engaging in marital
But why only for the
marital
priest? Why
affliction.
only for the priest and not for, why only for the priest and not for everyone?
Because we are humans. We are social creatures. We hold certain people to a higher esteem, and by holding them to a higher esteem, they set the
So
trends
you're
for
saying that
society.
like the priest had to be like squeaky clean,
Yes, above
lived at a
reproach.
higher,
That's the
above
whole
reproach. They couldn't sin like other people could sin. These people were wholly like separated from everyone else.
that was the idea, and that's what it means to be a priest. Exactly what you said.
Let me read.
So they're being held to a higher standard.
Let me go one
It's just
chapter.
like,
Hold on, Pierre, just 1 second. Let me go one chapter over here. It's chapter 22, Leviticus 22. It's God speaking again, and these are more laws about the priest and how he's going to be like do what he's going to be doing with the different sacrifices and things like that, and who can eat it and stuff like that. And if we go down to verse 10, it says, "No layperson shall eat of the sacred donations. No bound or hired servant of the priest shall eat of the sacred donations. But if a priest acquires anyone by purchase, that person may eat of them." If a priest acquires anyone by purchase, if a priest essentially buys a slave, they may eat of them, and those born in his house may eat of the food. So like maybe a house-born slave. So this pinnacle of goodness, this person who we need to burn a woman alive so that he can be the best person, the most holy person, that person, according to God's morality, can own slaves, Pierre. What do you think of that?
they own the slave.
So in God's mind, owning slaves good, owning slaves fine, no problem with that. But burning women alive, or actually women sleeping with other people, so horrible, we must burn them alive. That's your God's morality. He's so pro-slavery, he's so okay with it, that his priests, whose daughters must be burned alive for fucking, are allowed to have slaves. That's the God you worship.
I think you broke him.
No, it's just one, and this is where it really goes. If you understand the biblical narrative, God is doing a lot of stuff. He's doing multiple things. Just focusing on this.
He's burning women alive. He's endorsing slavery. What else is he doing?
Let's peel back. Let's kind of peel back and just look at what God is trying to do. He's trying to bring about a certain level of morality.
Yeah, what he's showing us is what he's showing us, Pierre, is what his standard of morality is, and he shows us that through his priesthood, right? His standard of morality is women must only sleep with one person. They must only be with priests can't be with people who are divorced. He doesn't like divorce. Yeah, but slavery is fine. He's showing us that slavery is A-okay. He has no qualms with people owning people. Do you like slavery, Pierre? Do you think slavery is a good thing like your God? Are you pro-slavery?
I'm not pro-slavery.
Your God is. When you get down on your knees and you pray every night to the God that advocated for women to be burned alive, do you say, God, you're great, your views on slavery align with mine, and I think it's good to burn women alive? Is that what you think about when you pray over every meal, Pierre?
No, but if you will allow me to finish what I was saying about the biblical narrative, I'll continue doing that.
Okay.
He's trying to bring about, and morality is not the best word, but he's trying to bring about a certain standard of living for all people. But what he initially does is create a set of people called the Israelites. He gives them those standards. Through the process, they fail to uphold those standards.
But why do I care about this? I know what the standards are. And the standards involve burning women alive and owning people as slaves.
you know the laws, but you don't know the standards. That's two different things.
Well, how why don't we
And
do
this
this?
is
Why don't
what
you
I
do
was.
this? Why don't you say how owning people as slaves is going to lead to God's ultimate standard? Why don't you show me how uh, owning people as slaves is necessary to reach God's ultimate standard? And I assume God's ultimate standard
Someone's saying it's
is humans owning humans. I believe that must be in line with his ultimate moral standard, right? People owning
why
people.
why are you saying that?
Because all I ever see in the Bible is him advocating for slavery, even in his best people, and I never
Where
see
do you
him
see
condemn it.
it in the state?
What's that?
It gives a law that allows slavery to happen, but it doesn't mean he's advocating for it. He just
No, he's
allows it.
advocating for it because we see what he does when he doesn't like something, right? He says burn women alive. But when he's totally cool with something and he's like, hey, go ahead and do this thing, he makes laws that say you can do it. And in this case, he's speaking of slavery in this passage with the priest as if it, like, that's not even the point of the passage. He's saying like, hey, yeah, and when you have a slave that you purchase, they can eat of it and blah 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 blah. It's just like a passing thing because slavery is so
So here's
ubiquitous.
the thing.
In his mind,
You know what's
it's so like he's so indifferent to slavery.
so
It means
all right.
so little to him that it's just like a sideline.
So according to what you're saying, using your example, he allows the slave to engage in the same
He
activity as the
allows
priest.
a priest to own slaves,
But
and
he also
as
allows
it was in
slave.
all. Before you try to
You
do
only in
before
this.
you, hey, Mister, who likes women being burned alive, before you try to make it a nice thing, every single like in that culture, people who were slaves in a home could eat the Passover meals and things like that. That was just how they all did it because this was your property and it's not like you wanted to have like a separate meal for them, so they were able to share in whatever
But
the
other
meal
people who
was.
have slaves did it differently.
Who
People
cares?
who in other
Who
cultures
gives
was
a flying fuck?
and
My point is
this is where
Pierre,
culture plays a.
the point is that the God who is immutable and unchangeable, who hates women having sex so badly he wants them burned alive, is so okay with slavery across the board. And what you need to show is that for some reason this slavery is necessary or good in achieving whatever you think God's goal is. So give me the goal and then show me how slavery is necessary to achieve it. And please,
Who
I think we
who
already know
said
that,
slavery is necessary? You setting up a standard and you setting up a situation.
you said it.
It's
You
not
said that the reason why we have women being burned alive and priests being like God being so cool with slavery was because of the work he's planning on doing, was the plan that he has. So there's an ultimate standard of something that he's trying to reach, and it's necessary for him to have slavery on the way there. That's got to be what you show. That's got it because that's your claim.
I'm not saying that. I never
Then
stated
what the
that.
fuck
This is
are then what the
was
fuck are
kind
you
of.
saying?
If you listen, I was stated. You keep on cutting me off.
Well, I heard you
Like
say
and
the thing that I
that's
just
what we.
said. So,
You keep on cutting. You keep on making inference.
all right, go ahead.
Like you keep. Yeah. So there's a standard that he has, and if you don't keep that, let's get to this. God creates life. God creates life. He sets the standards. That's what it means to be a
Right.
God.
So that's when I
You
said, tell me what the standard is, and then tell me why slavery was necessary. But okay, apparently I didn't listen. But yeah, go ahead and say the same thing I just fucking said. Go ahead.
That the standard is life. There's the standard is love. The standard is holiness, and the standard is, I would say, holiness.
Yeah.
Holiness.
Yeah, holiness. So tell me how allowing or being totally cool with priests having slaves, these priests that are supposed to be that level of holiness, and they're supposed to be that level of righteous, and they're supposed to be hitting that standard, so much so that they have to have their daughters burned alive. You tell me how the slavery factors into that and is necessary for that loving standard. Please explain it to me, Pierre.
So holiness is a standard of being what God wants you to be. Is you falling into the identity, the idea that God has,
and that's what we see. That's what we see with the priest, right? He is the holy standard, and that holy standard involves owning people as property. So God's holy standard is people who own people as slaves. You're a pro-slavery apologist.
So
Pierre wants women burned alive and people to own people as slaves. Pierre is a Christian who is okay with women being burned alive and owning people as slaves. This is Christianity. They can't condemn anything. They have to be pro-slavery and pro-burning women alive. That's garbage, Pierre. That's garbage.
God has a standard. He wants you to live up to his ideologies. By right, as a creator, that's
his
right.
Ideologies are garbage, man. They're pieces of they're
understandable. The thing is, I'm coming from more of an objective standpoint than you. You're coming from extreme subjective. I'm actually being objective and just saying, hey,
that's impossible. But go on.
This is what I've been saying is like, even though I condemn it, it moves nothing.
Well, you don't condemn it.
That, right?
Good news. No. You don't condemn it.
Like if I were to condemn the rules of North Korea, what does that do for North Korea?
It just helps us know your moral standard. Your moral standard is horrific.
So ask me about my moral standard.
The nice thing, we do know your moral standard. Your moral standard is you can't condemn burning women alive, and you are pro-slavery. That's your attitude. Pierre, I'm done talking to you. You've shown us in a very loud, obnoxious way how horrific the Christian brain rot is. I will, of course, let Jack ask a question. Go ahead.
Oh, thank you. I'm sorry. I know this isn't the Jack show, but I just thought I would ask. Pierre, do you think that God has agency? Like,
define what you mean by agency.
Like, he thinks and he's like a single thing. Like, when he says something, that's the law, like that's from him, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wouldn't that make him a subject?
Subject to what? To whom? Himself?
No, wouldn't that make him a subject? Like, we use pronouns for Jack. Like subject, like he and her, and
this is gonna go above his head. This is gonna go above his head. Yeah, Pierre.
So you're basing your morality off of what this God says, right?
Yeah. Some.
So it's subjective.
Yes. Well, it's not subjective to me.
Oh, yeah, no, sorry. That was my question.
I get what you're saying, Pierre. But
no, my morality is all right.
You try to follow God's subjective morality. We get it. Yeah. But I'm going to let you go.
Yeah, it's subjective to him. God's morality is subjected to him.
Yeah. All right. Bye. Yeah. We're up to 50 minutes on that garbage.
So me and him were talking just to try to keep him on so that you could wait for him, and he wouldn't be kicked off. But he came from Haiti and he lives in the United States now, and he is not a Christian nationalist. So.
Oh, that's nice. Well,
yeah, one redeemable quality.
Hey, look, way to bring it to give us a little bit of an upswing. Joey White sent $2 to say, "Hot boy Hollister polo shirt alert, like siren. Thank you, thank you." And Brain Damage Songwriter sent has been a dumpling for 3 months and sent a little special message to say, "Pierre is a giant piece of shit fuckface, and if a man sleeps around and gets he gets a fucking cookie." Well, and that's true too. That like the people of the time, if you were a man, you would could sleep with whoever you wanted. Like there's no problem.
Even
there.
some people today.
Well, of course, today and our values are also misogynistic. Let me just see here. We've got Solemn next. Just gotta actually, I'm going to play a little ad real quick.
This is Bad Bible Debates with Joel Reed's Bible. Subscribe, follow, tap the screen, share it. Thank you for the gifts, the super chats, and the compliments. Welcome to all the dumplings. That's right, we love that you're here. Now let's spank, 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 spank.
Solemn Drift Solemn Drift, are you there?
Yes, how we doing?
Pretty good. Just talking to people, just trying to get by. Hey, let me ask you this question real quick. Do you think that God is the jerk in the Bible?
I don't know if I can offer a wholesale approval or condemnation. I believe that God acts like a jerk in the Bible plenty of times, just like I believe my dad acted like a jerk when I was a kid. So sometimes yes, sometimes no.
So, like, do you think that God is like all good?
In an ultimate sense, yes. But again, my dad was all good, but is
your dad was all good?
In an ultimate sense, I didn't mean to like deify my dad. What I'm saying is, if we take one particular situation where he happened to be right because he was a good dad and I was wrong, he is ultimately right in that situation. But he may have done something like taking away something of mine. He could have. That's stealing, right? He could have stolen something of mine.
No, I think you're trying to like sort of mince words. Like, if your dad, let's say, like, your dad never did anything wrong, like literally wrong.
Oh no, I'm sorry. That's not what I'm saying. No, I was taking a weird angle. No, of course he was a flawed human like everyone else. He did plenty of things wrong.
But God is not flawed. God's entirely good.
Yes, I agree. I agree with that.
Okay, that's the real Christian answer. Do you think that God is just?
Yes, I do. Yep.
Okay. So do you think,
I know I'm walking into a trap, but I do.
Well, it's just I'll be honest with you. It's not much of a trap. Do you believe in the doctrine of hell?
Yeah, I'm not. I don't paint as vivid a picture as Dante. I think that was irresponsible given the evidence we have. But I believe in a hell-adjacent fate.
Like,
yes.
Could we call it eternal conscious torment of some kind?
Yeah. I mean, again, I still don't know if that's representative of the information we have. But I mean,
we have screaming and gnashing of teeth.
Yeah.
And we have
not fun. Yeah, I'm not trying to say it's not terrible.
Yeah. And forever. Would you say that it's eternal, like it's forever?
I'm leaning towards probably. I know there's the whole annihilationist people,
right.
But
or universalist. Okay, so
yeah, I'm leaning towards. I think so. Yes.
Okay, so like, how is that just? And let me just say it this way, like, to torture somebody eternally for finite crimes, and sometimes the crime of just like not believing and doing just like petty everyday, maybe sleeping with someone before marriage or something. How do you think that it's like just or loving or good to torture someone eternally for that?
That's one of the good challenges. That's one of the good questions. So there are a couple of, and I'm sure you've heard them all. I'm not assuming I'm dropping any like.
You know what? I
surprises on
don't
you,
talk about this one that often. So, but I probably have maybe, yeah. But yeah, what do you think?
So sure, I can walk through a couple super fast, but like I'm gonna first of all concede that you're asking a solid question that is, just because I believe doesn't mean that I affirm everything as having a clear, pretty answer with a bow on it. I fully concede that this is tough, and even though you might think that I'm totally brainwashed, I don't just roll my eyes back on my head and not think. Like, this seems wrong to me too. It really does. And I think that on the one hand, I feel that way, but on the other hand, I try to comprehend a standard that I can't comprehend. So, for example, if it is like, quote, a standard of holiness, which I don't understand, it doesn't make sense to me. But what I can understand is that if there's a little kid who slaps his brother in school, okay, little kid, whatever the school does, maybe he sits out for a day, etc. If the little kid stands up on the desk and slaps the principal in the face really, really hard, just like his brother, there's a heavier punishment. So one argument is, it isn't the fact, you can easily spin some rhetoric and say, well, you're torturing a child forever because he slapped God in the face, metaphorically. You're so evil. But we also affirm already in our lived experience, nobody really disagrees with, well, you slapped the principal.
No,
so
I don't think that that's even true. I think that, like, it probably would be maybe even similar, or I would say that, like, the slapping of the principal would be like less of a punishment, just because, like, I don't know why the kid would slap a principal, but slapping a peer
Right.
is different than slapping someone that can take it and is in a position of authority, and maybe